Hello there you guys, welcome to another my live video. So just going to give you some additional information in regards to Paul Pogba, because I've been reading up a bit more today about Paul Pogba. So now reportedly there has been a change of scenery, and reportedly Ole Gunnar Solsjaker wants to offload Paul Pogba. And I think the main factor reason why he wants to offload Paul Pogba, because obviously we want to raise funds and obviously rebuild the squad and all that, because obviously recent reports have come out and said we've only been given £100 million to spend this summer. And obviously, £100 million, of course, isn't enough, to address the deficiencies in the squad. I think this actually, came from Mark Ogden yesterday from ESPN, and he did basically say when we do, obviously, finalise the deal for Wan-Bissaka, because it's looking very imminent, he's going to be our second signing. Obviously, then we're going to have to sell, before we can currently buy him again, because when we do get the deal finalised for Wan-Bissaka, obviously it's going to take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend to around £73 million, and obviously we've only been given £100 million to spend, so basically we've only got £27 million to spend on a central defender, 2 new additions in midfield, a right winger and a striker, and obviously it's impossible to do that with £27 million. But I thought it was initially £200 million that we had been given to spend, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad this summer. Obviously Daniel James is already on the board. It's looking very imminent that Wan-Bissaka is coming in and all that, but I think now we need to consider selling players. That's very essential, so we can raise money. And I think if we can sell Pogba, if we can sell Lukaku, I think we can raise around £200 million there for them too, of course. But yeah, basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not, well, he did obviously for a long time, he said he doesn't want to basically sell Paul Pogba and all that, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is. But we do know he's been relentlessly linked to a move away from Old Trafford, and we do know it's Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling out for his services. I was reading reports about Pogba the other day, and it did say we was willing to offer him 500 grand a week, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. And it also said we're set to hand him a loyalty bonus at the beginning of next month. I think this loyalty bonus is almost worth around £4 million. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how imperative Paul Pogba is. But obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now is understanding the situation with Manchester United and all that. So basically wants to offload him, so it can help us rebuild the squad, and it will also help us with our transition. But basically, like I said, he's been relentlessly linked to a move away from Old Trafford. Paul Pogba did confirm on Sunday of last week. He told reporters in Tokyo, that he's seeking for a new challenge. He wants to rejuvenate his career, and he also, basically said, he wants to leave Manchester United, and he actually, publicly announced this for the first time, and he even did say he was even willing to go on strike, to leave Manchester United. But for a long time, his likely destination has been Real Madrid. I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid, obviously, because obviously it's one of Real Madrid's main priority targets. But at least in the last couple of weeks, he said, Juventus have revived their interest and all that. They're interested in re-signing him. Obviously, Juventus have held negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent, Raiola. Also, confirmed last week that the Juventus director, who had, come to London, to hold negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. And basically, the Juventus director, did insist that, that Juventus love Paul Pogba, because he did have 4 good years in Turin and all that. He played really, really well. He exceeded expectation levels, but he hasn't really replicated this form, since he did make the return to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £89 million to him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. And we've got a history of spending big on players. Especially in recent years. Like I said, Lukaku £75 million, initially rising up to £90 million. We've had several add-ons included. Pogba £89 million, and I think we are moving away from the process of signing them well established players this summer, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talent and all that. And quite a few people have said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. Like I said, it's not always about getting them well established players. It's not always about spending a big on players, because it doesn't always guarantee you success. Like I said, you can get the best players in the world. If you're not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team, of course it isn't currently going to work out and all that. But initially, we've indicated anyway that Paul Pogba is not for sale. I think we would accept a bid in the region of around £150 million. But obviously, Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to the £150 million for him. Probably more than likely, Juventus would have to offload 1 or 2 of their essential players as part of the deal, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Juventus would be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. But Paul Pogba at Manchester United still got 2 years left on his current deal, with an option to extend it by further years on about £290,000 a week. It did come out quite a few weeks back saying that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Paul Pogba's agent Riley Ola has been in the process of finding a new club and all that. But his likely destination, like I said, has been Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid so far have got 5 players on the board this summer, of course, and obviously, Paul Pogba is one of their main targets. Obviously, I think Christian Eriksen is also linked to a move to Real Madrid, and obviously Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba, and all that. But now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to offload him, because reportedly we've been only given £100 million to spend and all that. And obviously, like I said, that's not going to be enough for us to get the number of players that we want. Obviously, it's not going to be enough for us to address the deficiencies in the squad and all that. So now I think when we complete the sign of Van Wan-Bissaka, we've got to sell players to raise money and all that, and then address the other areas of the squad that, of course, does need addressing. But a couple of main factor reasons why I think Paul Pogba wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe wants to be winning trophies and competing and all that. And of course, he's not experiencing this at Manchester United. I think he does want to rejuvenate his career and all that. Paul Pogba hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he currently would have been and all that. But like I said, we've seen glimpses of his best form, and we mainly saw it in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, because it all went really, really well when he was the interim manager. He did everything. Went well. The results were good. The performances were good. Them expectation levels were met. And it's just seems to have all gone wrong. Since he has got the job permanently. But Paul Pogba was in fantastic form in that 3-month period, and mainly we saw the best of Pogba. When Ander Herrera was currently playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact Ander Herrera had made in that midfield, because obviously he freed up Pogba and all that. And Pogba was in fantastic form in that 3-month period. But like I did basically say, he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, left the club and all that. I think there was also talks about him going to Juventus last year. I think there was also talks about him possibly, going to Barcelona in January. Obviously, Paul Pogba with us, he's won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously, that came in his second season at Manchester United. But you can say he's still arguably, one of the best midfielders in the world, when he's playing in the right vein. And of course, when he's playing in the right manner and all that. But like I said, Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to 150 million. It came out the other week saying that Real Madrid are willing to offer as Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba and all that. I was reading reports yesterday, and it did say Juventus were willing to offer as Douglas Costa as part of the deal for Paul Pogba. Came out the other week saying that one of the players Juventus were willing to offer was Paulo Dybala. And obviously we do know that Paulo Dybala has been on our agenda for quite some time and all that. But like I said, we want around £150 million for him. But basically now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed, he's even informed the Manchester United bosses and all that, he does want to offload Paul Pogba, because obviously it's going to help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition. But it's very, very imperative that we do get a replacement for him. So I do believe we need at least 2 new additions in that midfield. But I think, anyway, we're focusing on getting the deal finalised for Van Wan-Bissaka, and then I think after that, then our priority, of course, will be to recommend a midfielder to come in. It's looking very imminent anyway that Van Wan-Bissaka, like I said, is going to be our second signing this summer. I think Manchester United have confirmed that we do want to complete the transfer of Van Wan-Bissaka within the next 48 hours, of course. Obviously, Van Wan-Bissaka has agreed personal terms on a contract worth up to around £80,000 a week and all that. And I think the deal is set to rise up to around £60 million. I think Crystal Palace, are demanding, that they want around £50 million up front. It initially broke out a couple of days ago, saying that it broke out a couple of days ago. This was actually, stemming from Duncan Castles, who's a journalist, saying that, Manchester United have agreed a world record fee for Van Wan-Bissaka, and it did say the fee was around £55 million. And obviously, that's obviously, going to make him the most expensive fullback in world football. Also, making the most expensive expensive English defender of all time. So I think the deal, like I said, is set to rise up to around £60 million. Obviously, initially Crystal Palace said, they wanted around £60 million for him. Obviously, we've previously, had two bids, turned down for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, the last bid, obviously, Crystal Palace didn't like the structure of the offer because we'd offered 50 million. It wasn't we didn't offer 50 million up front. Obviously, it was 35 million up front. We offered, with 15 million in add-ons. Palace had instantly, turned this down. And the first bid, we put in was around 40 million pounds. But again, Crystal Palace had turned this down. But obviously, he's been one of our main priority targets, and he has been, on our agenda, for quite some time. But he is British, like I said. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. He is predominantly a right back, and like I said, we have got issues defensively, and that was proven last season because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. Obviously, in 38 Premier League games, obviously our highest total in like 40 years. So that just proves that we have got issues defensively. But I think now Wan-Bissaka, will be the right solution for Manchester United. He is proven in the Premier League. Like I said, he's only 21 years of age. Only broke in Crystal Palace's senior squad in February of last year, and obviously, like I said, he's made about 42 senior appearances. He's got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. But I think since last weekend, we have been in further more negotiation with Crystal Palace over coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. So I do believe the terms have been agreed. Some reports were saying a couple of days ago that the fee has been agreed, but I do believe the deal is going to rise up to around £60 million. Initially, when Wan-Bissaka was a lot younger, he was actually an out-and-out winner, but as he was developing and all that, he got rotated as a right back. But he's been a Crystal Palace player since the age of 11, and he actually informed Crystal Palace down Wan-Bissaka that he does want to join Manchester United. So it's looking like he's going to be our second signing this summer, and he's of course going to be our second signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's not guaranteed it will happen, but I do think it's probably going to happen. It came out the other week, saying that Tottenham had inquired about his services, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer confirmed, he wants our transfer business done he wants our transfer business done. Well, I think he actually said this last month that he wants our transfer business done by the 1st of July and all that. And it obviously, I think there's about 49 days left until the current transfer window shuts. But yeah, I'm very excited about Wan-Bissaka coming in. I think he'll be a perfect successor to Antonio Valencia. Obviously, we do know Antonio Valencia's left the club after serving 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, he served 10 years at the club, so he was a long-serving player here, Antonio Valencia. But I think Bissaka will be good, perfect successor for him. I think he'll be a fantastic upgrade to Ash Young, because we do know that Ash Young is one of the problematic players at the club. Obviously, he's been a long servant here. He has been here 8 years. Obviously, he was our first choice right back last season. It was a bad mistake from the club, giving Ash Young that new 1 year extension, and he's no longer got the abilities to fulfil that right back position. And obviously, like I said, he's 33. He's nearly 34 years of age. So he has passed his sell by date. Don't get me wrong, he was good when he was younger, and he has had a good career, with Manchester United. But he is one of the problematic players. Like I currently said, and I think definitely Wan-Bissaka will be a great upgrade to him, and obviously it'll be a great cover up for Diego Dalot. So it's looking likely he is going to be coming to Manchester United. But like I said, I think it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the highest level, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season that he still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football. Like I said, it's always so going to be hard for us to convince players to remain at the football club, without Champions League football and all that. But like I said, it's very essential that we do get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy, it's not very good. We didn't get anyone in January. Obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer. But the good news is, it's looking likely, that Wan-Bissaka, of course, is coming in. It did say, we have been in there for Norwich's Max Aarons. Obviously, we see Max Aarons as an alternative, to Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Max Aarons is only 19 years of age. Obviously, he is British. Obviously, I think it was on his first season in the senior squad with Norwich last season. I don't think Norwich have got any intentions of killing selling him. It would be actually a cheaper solution than Wan-Bissaka. But basically, we are seeing Max Aarons as an alternative, to Wan-Bissaka, in case we don't get the deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka. Max Aarons, I think he joined Norwich's youth academy in 2016, was in their youth academy for a couple of years, and then obviously was broke into their first team last season. Obviously won the championship with Norwich last season, and I think he played about 43 games for Norwich last season and all that. I think he initially began his career with Luton, but I think he's under contract with Norwich till 2023, because I think he signed a new long-term contract in October of last year. So like I said, he's under contract when I was till 2023. Only 19 years of age. I think he's primarily a right back. He can play as a left back as well, but he's primarily a right back. So reportedly, Manchester United have been in for him. But I think anyway, it's looking like, we are going to get Wan-Bissaka on the board. And Bruno Fernandes, now I think he's probably going to be our third signing this summer. Obviously, we are in net for Bruno Fernandes, but like I said, we want to get the deal fully finalised for Wan-Bissaka first, and then we're going to turn our attentions on, obviously, getting Bruno Fernandes in. So, obviously, as I updated you on my previous video that I did earlier on, basically he says, now we are preparing to put a £49 million bid in for Bruno Fernandes, after it did get confirmed earlier on this week that Manchester United had held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent and all that. So now we are preparing to put our first bid in for him. I think the bid is supposed to be around £49 million that we are preparing to offer. I think it did say there could be series of add-ons included, which could potentially rise the offer to around maybe 60 or 70 million pounds. I do believe Sporting Lisbon want around 60 or 70 million, of course. That's what I think. That's what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding. But we do know that we may have to make a final decision now on Bruno Fernandes, reflecting on Tottenham's interest and all that. Obviously, it came out this week saying that Tottenham have been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. Obviously, it did get confirmed on Wednesday that Bruno Fernandes' agent, was in London, having negotiations with Tottenham, because Tottenham have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. It just recently got come out on a report saying again now that Tottenham have ruled out the move for him, but it came out about 4 or 5 days ago, saying that Tottenham had ruled out a move for Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, Tottenham have got quite a few players on their agenda, because obviously, they want to do transfer activity this summer. They haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows and all that. And obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is going to want back in this summer. I think, one of their main priority targets is Tanguy Ndombele from Lyon. Obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso has been on their current agenda. But with Christian Eriksen, supposedly leaving, obviously, Tottenham are going to want to replace him for him. So they have been in there for Bruno Fernandes and all that. But it did basically say that we'd actually, informed Bruno Fernandes' representative, that we do need more time. Obviously, we mean that, obviously, we give us time, to get the deal finalised for Wan-Bissaka. Then, obviously, we're going to go in then for Bruno Fernandes, to try and get a deal concluded. So the Ebola reported saying that, we are preparing to put a bid in for him of around £49 million and all that. Reports reflected out earlier on this week saying that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around €45 million. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling. But the Portuguese press reported the other week, that Liverpool had entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. It also mentioned that Atletico Madrid were interested. It did say they were preparing a bid of around 44.6 million, was it, pounds for him or something like that. But yeah, quite a lot of teams have inquired about his service. But I think in the last couple of weeks, according to the Portuguese press, they've considered us, to be the favourites to get the players' signature, because it didn't, as you say, a couple of weeks ago, we was willing to pay up to 70 odd million pounds for Bruno Fernandes' services and all that. But I think he would be a fantastic adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because obviously he's primarily an attacking midfielder. He is only 24 years of age and all that. He's had a good couple of seasons with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously last season scored 31 goals in all competitions, and that midfield area is obviously one of the pivotal areas where we do where we do currently need to strengthen up and all that. But I think Bruno Fernandes would be fantastic. He'd have depth in our midfield. He'd bring them goals that we need from that midfield and all that, and he's got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously, as like I said, he's been at Sporting. There's been a couple of seasons. Let's be honest, he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet. But I do believe if he comes to the Premier League, he will exceed expectation levels. I think he's got all the attributes to definitely succeed in the Premier League. But he has been one of our main priority targets, so it's very essential that we can conclude a deal for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he was saying the other week that he still watches the Italian football and all that, because obviously Bruno Fernandes did spend the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, with likes of Sampdoria in Udinese and all that. But looking at it from a financial point of view and looking at it from Sporting Lisbon perspective, they will make a pretty decent profit on the player, because it's looking very imminent. He will be playing his trade elsewhere next season, probably more than likely in the Premier League with Manchester United, hopefully. And because I think actually Sporting Lisbon only got got him for next to naught, really. I think they paid around, was it £7 or £8 for his services from Sampdoria, was it? So they'll make a pretty decent profit on him, even though Sporting Lisbon know how much of an essential player he is to them. He has been there since 2017. He is still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. I think his initial release clause is around £86 million. But we do know he came out the other week, Manchester City, of course, were in for him. But I don't think, I think obviously now Manchester City have withdrawn their interest. They're no longer in for Bruno Fernandes, and I think City were only willing to pay up to around £47 million for his services. I think City were willing to offer, a couple of their players as part of the deal and all that. But yeah, I'll say, Manchester United are still in the ascendancy, of currently getting him. But I do believe he would be a fantastic, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, as soon as the Young Wan-Bissaka deal is finalised, I think then we've obviously, got to consider selling, obviously, raise funds and all that, and then we can obviously start buying them again, because I think we've actually been given £100 million to spend. It was supposed to be 200 million, wasn't it? But I think based on our failure to qualify for the Champions League for next season, I think this is why we've only been given £100 million kitty. Obviously, as I have been updating you as well about James Maddison from Leicester. Now, I think he'd also be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. I don't think he's going to be leaving Leicester this summer, because I've read reports the other week, saying that James Maddison is actually wants to stay at Leicester. I think he wants to remain loyal to Leicester, at least for another season and all that. He's only 22 years of age. Of course, he is British. He is proven in the Premier League. He's obviously had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. It was his debut season in the Premier League, last season with Leicester. I think he was involved in 14 goals. He created more chances than any other player. And I think it came out about this story about 3 or 4 weeks ago, was it now? Saying that, we'd expressed our interest in him, we'd emerged him as a priority target and all that. And it did initially say, Leicester wanted around £60 million for him. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder, like I said. He's only 22 in that. And he's really, really good. He's James Maddison. I think, the vast majority, people, would take him at their clubs. Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich. I think Leicester, paid him around £20 million for his services. I think, if I'm right, did he sign a 5-year deal, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. But we've had quite a few teams have inquired about James Maddison's services. Obviously, I think the likes of City, Liverpool and Tottenham, have been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry, because obviously he actually, began his career at Coventry, did, James Maddison and all that. I think he also had a loan spell with Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, and I think he had a couple of scenes in the Championship at, where with Norwich, and he did, really, really well. But yeah, Leicester got £20 million to him. So if Leicester were to sell him, and they were to get £60 million, obviously they'd gain around a £40 million profit and all that. But I think it came out saying that James Maddison wants to stay with Leicester at least for another season. Obviously, he's not going to intend on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester. Obviously, at some point, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. But he can create chances, very good on the ball, and that I think he's good on and off the ball. Is James Maddison also can score goals, also can provide. So I do believe he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder. Obviously, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, there has been a lot of talks about, David Brooks going on today. I've been reading up a bit more about David Brooks, and I've been updating you about him on a regular basis. Now, David Brooks, of course, is a midfielder. I've read quite a few reports about it today. Like I said, it says Manchester United are interested in signing him. He's only 21 years of age. Of course, he's Welsh, and obviously, we've got Daniel James on the board, and obviously, David Brooks is Welsh, and obviously, David Brooks and Daniel James, know each other really, really well, because obviously they do both play in the Wales national team and all that. And I actually where they are the same age. Daniel James is 21. David Brooks of course is 21. But yeah, David Brooks, seems to be a pretty decent player. Obviously, he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, it was his debut season in the Premier League, last season with Bournemouth. I think he played about 30 games for Bournemouth in the Premier League last season and scored about 7 goals. I think in all, he was involved in about 12 goals. So he scored 7 goals, provided 5 assists. Obviously, Bournemouth got him last summer from Sheffield United. I think Bournemouth, paid just over 11. I think they paid around £11.5 million for his services, and I think he did sign a 4-year contract with Bournemouth, so he's under contract with them until 2022. I think he's under contract with them until 2022, but I think in March this year he signed a new long-term contract with Bournemouth and all that. But yeah, I think he was very, very impressive in his debut season last season with Bournemouth. Was David Brooks. I think Bournemouth are reluctant, to sell him, and I think they would demand, they want around £50 million from him if they are willing to currently let him go. But very, very good player. Also his versatility, he's very, very good. Obviously he's primarily a midfielder. I think it says he can also play out wide. He can play in a deep midfield role. I think quite a few times he played behind the front man last season and all that. But he's proven that he can score goals. I think his movement on and off the ball is very, very good. But I think it also is being revealed. He's a boyhood Manchester United fan. He's David Brooks. Obviously before he was at Bournemouth, he obviously he was at Sheffield United and all that. Obviously he actually graduated from Sheffield United's youth system and all that. And obviously I think he had about 3 years in Sheffield United's senior squad. I think he also had a loan spell with Halifax Town. But obviously David Brooks has had experience of playing in Manchester. Obviously he actually began his career with Manchester City when he was a lot younger. I think he joined their youth academy, was it in 2004 or something like that. And I think he served a decade in Manchester City's youth setup. Obviously never got into Manchester City's senior team and all that. Obviously after he served a decade in Manchester City's youth academy, obviously then he went to join Sheffield United's youth academy, and then eventually broke in Sheffield United's first team and all that. But looks a pretty decent player. It also says that Tottenham have been in for David Brooks. But yeah, reportedly he's a boyhood Manchester United fan. So do you think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso from Real Betis. Now, it does say we're in for Giovanni Lo Celso. Like I said, he's a midfielder. He's only 23 years of age. Of course, he is Argentinian. Obviously, I think it came out a couple of weeks ago from Giovanni Lo Celso's preference that he wants to make the move to Tottenham. I think he's been one of Tottenham's main targets, to be quite honest with you. But it does say Manchester United have been there for him. I don't really know much about Giovanni Lo Celso, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, last season was his first season. With Real Betis and all that. Obviously, Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. For the majority of last season, he was basically on loan with Real Betis. But obviously, reflecting back in April, Real Betis had made the deal permanent by paying around, I think, £20 million and all that. But if Real Betis do sell him, obviously, PSG do benefit from it, because obviously, PSG, do get a percentage of any current sale. So PSG, of course, do benefit from it. I think he scored 16 goals in all competitions in the La Liga last season, did Giovanni Lo Celso. I believe his release clause is around £88 million. So I think Real Betis would be looking for somewhere in the region of around maybe £70 or £80 million if they are willing to offload him. But obviously reflecting back last month, Tottenham had lodged a bidding for him of around, was it £50 odd million. I think there was also add-ons included, but obviously Real Betis had currently turned this down. But Tottenham had been in negotiation with Real Betis over getting a deal concluded and all that. But yeah, do you think Giovanni Lo Celso would be a good replacement for Pogba? I don't see Giovanni Lo Celso, to be quite honest with you, coming to Manchester United. Obviously, I've been Yuri Tillemans. I also think Yuri Tillemans would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, a lot of reports emerged out last week, saying that we was in for Yuri Tillemans. Well, it said basically that we had revived our interest, and it basically said we had been in negotiations with Yuri Tillemans' agents over coming to an agreement on a possible deal and all that. We do know that he's available for a reasonable figure. Is Yuri Tillemans, because obviously Monaco initially rate him at around £40 million. Obviously, quite a few teams have inquired about his services. Obviously, Tottenham have been in there for him. Obviously, we do know that Manchester City have been in there for for Yuri Tillemans, should I say. Sorry, I nearly said David Brooks then. But he's only 22 years of age. I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder. He can also play as an attacking midfielder, can Yuri Tillemans. But obviously, he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, had been on loan with Leicester since January. Obviously, his loan spell now has come to an end with Leicester, and obviously he has made the return to Monaco. But I think Yuri Tillemans was confirmed he will not be applying his trade with Monaco next season. He won't be staying with Monaco and all that. But yeah, quite a few teams have inquired about his services. But I think, Leicester have been in talks with Monaco over getting him on a permanent deal, because Leicester do want to get, Youri Tielemans on a permanent deal, and I think Leicester would like to put Youri Tielemans alongside, James Maddison in their midfield, because obviously, Leicester do believe, that they'd blend in very, very well together and all that, because James Maddison's really, really good. Also, Youri Tielemans has proven himself really, really well, and like I said, he's had about 5-6 months of experience under his belt. He's available for a reasonable figure. He's available for £40 million. I think he's on the contract here with Monaco until 2022 and all that. So I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. But recent reports said, like I said, that we've dropped our interest now. We've pulled him out of the race because we've been offered the chance to sign him, but reportedly, we've rejected the opportunity to complete a deal for him, because obviously I think we're focusing on getting other deals over the line first. But yeah, like I said, so many midfielders on our current agenda. But like I said, I probably expect about 3 or 4 players, to leave Manchester United this summer. Maybe 5 at the top. So I think another problem as well, we have let far too many players' contracts run down and all that. But like I said, we need to see vast improvements, going on into this season, because obviously, it was very disappointing, last season. We finished 6th, we didn't win any silverware, but, we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons. Obviously, I haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. Obviously, that's like over 6 years ago now. But I did say, I have expectations, going on into next season. I do believe we'll be, to probably, finish in the top 4, maybe win the Carabao Cup, maybe even, win the Europa League and all that. Our expectations going on into next season, will not be, to win the Premier League or even challenge for the Premier League, because I think, we are a number of years off, from mounting any kind of title challenge up, because obviously, City has tried ahead of us at the moment, Liverpool, of course, has tried ahead of us, so it's very imperative, that we catch up there with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool, but like I said, at least in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations, definitely, will be that top 4, but I do believe probably, other teams are going to invest this summer. I think probably City are going to strengthen up this summer. Probably Liverpool will look to get a player to on the board. Arsenal, it's going to be hard for Arsenal, to have a competitive window, because they're not in their Champions League football for next season. With Chelsea, I'm not too sure about Chelsea, because obviously, Chelsea, I think have still got that transfer ban, which means they can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows and all that. It depends basically, if Chelsea get the transfer ban overturned and that. But like I said, we're a toxic club at the moment. Obviously, we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years, and obviously, we have been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years, and this is the main factor reason, why we've, been underachieving and all that. Don't get me wrong, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the club, since Alex Ferguson retired. We've seen players come in, and of course, we've seen players go and all that. But yeah, we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years, and like I said, I just want us to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club. And even though we are a toxic club, and we have been for the last 5 or 6 years, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. Obviously, we're the most successful team in England, historically and all that. But like I said, we've got a great fan base as well. So we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. But like I said, I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the stature, to command us in that position, where we do want to be. Obviously, we are going to find out, going on into this season and all that. And I hope it works out for him, because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. I know he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level, especially, and that's something, that does currently concern me. But, analysing it, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The only player that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's is Daniel James, and obviously the second one is obviously going to be Wan-Bissaka. That's obviously going to be another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's going to be another one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's players. But except that, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's inheriting players from Van Gaal. Obviously, it's to still matter even the David Moyes era. There's still 4 or 5 players here, from the Alex Ferguson era and all that. But basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's mystery. But yeah, like I said, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because we already sat 3 managers, since Alex Ferguson retired. So, like I did say, it's I hope it can work out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's very disappointing that we're not getting a sporting director in, because, like I said, that is the structural change, that we do need. The club is getting a director of footballing, but obviously now we're not getting a director of footballing. There were so many names, linked there with that director as well, but obviously, we are going to be sticking with the same structure at the club. So obviously, Ed Woodward is going to be overseeing our summer transfer business this summer. And as I actually updated you earlier on with in regards to Harry Maguire, obviously Harry Maguire has been one of our priority targets. Obviously now we are set to miss out on Harry Maguire after reports have circulated around the media today saying that Manchester City are in pole position to sign Harry Maguire. Basically, City are reluctant to pay up to £80 million for him, and I think this is the main factor reason why we were confident that we could outbid Manchester City to his services, and that we were confident that we could sign Harry Maguire ahead of Manchester City, because like I said, City were not willing to pay up to £80 million for his services, and it did say we was willing to pay up to £80 million for his services. But Harry Maguire's preference, basically, he wants to make the move to Manchester City. Obviously he's confirmed that he wants to play under Pep Guardiola, because obviously Harry Maguire wants to rejuvenate his career and all that, and obviously Harry Maguire probably believes he'll flourish and under Pep Guardiola's guidance and all that. But he did confirm today that Manchester City have scheduled a medical for Harry Maguire, so Harry Maguire is set for his medical with Manchester City and all that. I think City are expected to sign Harry Maguire for around £65 million. He did initially say that Manchester City only rate Harry Maguire at around £50 million. But yeah, it's looking likely now that City are going to get their first major signing this summer. Obviously, Manchester City want a replacement for Vincent Kompany, because obviously Vincent Kompany served 11 years with Manchester City, but now obviously he left, and obviously now his player manager Matt Anderlecht and all that. So City do want a replacement for him, and they've identified Harry Maguire as their number one target. But we're doing it as being Manchester United and Manchester City have obviously been battling out for his services. Like I said, he's been one of our priority targets, and obviously Harry Maguire's been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford, and actually, the process started last summer, under Jose Mourinho and all that, and the rumours continued to persist since then. Obviously, the main factor reason why we didn't get Harry Maguire last summer, because, number one, the board weren't back in the signs that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend in, and number two, we was not basically, willing to pay up to £70 million for Harry Maguire. But I was reading reports earlier on this week, and it did basically say, that Ed Woodward is keen on recommending him in, and he did say, Ed Woodward was willing to pay up to £80 million for his services. He did say we was willing to offer him a £350,000 a week, contract term and all that, to try and convince him, to come to the football club. But basically, looking at ultimately, Leicester don't even want to sell Harry Maguire. This is why this is why they've priced him out of the transfer market. This is why they are demanding an extortionate amount for him, because they do not want to sell Harry Maguire, because Leicester do know how much of an imperative player he is to them and all that. It came out early on this week saying, we was willing to offer. We was basically willing to offer Andres Pereira to Leicester as part of the deal for Harry Maguire. It also said we could offer Eric Bailly and Rojo to Leicester as part of the deal for Harry Maguire. So obviously this could convince Leicester to lower their asking price for Harry Maguire and all that. But it's looking likely now that Manchester City have run the race. Harry Maguire's been at Leicester a couple of seasons. Obviously Leicester got him from Hull City back in 2017. Leicester paid around £17 million for his services. Since his arrival at Leicester, I think he's made 76 appearances in all competitions. I think he's made 69 of those appearances, obviously now in the Premier League and all that. And he's under contract with Leicester till 2023, because he did sign this new long-term contract last summer, like I said. Obviously, I think he also had a loan spell with Wigan. Obviously, like I said, he spent quite a few years with Hull, and obviously initially began his career with Sheffield United as a youngster. Obviously, graduated from their youth system. I think he played about 166 professional games for Sheffield United. Did Harry Maguire. But like I said, £80 million would obviously make him the most expensive defender in world football. Obviously, the most expensive defender in world football at the moment is Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for, and it'd also make him the most expensive English defender of all time, ahead of Kyle Walker and all that. But I do believe he's currently going to be going to Manchester City, and yeah, I think City are set to get him for around £65 million, according to recent reports. So it's looking likely, we have missed out on him. But like I said, there has been quite a few central defenders on our agenda, because, Smalling's not good enough, Jones is not good enough, they're no longer good enough, to represent Manchester United. And Smalling and Jones have been two long-serving players the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years and all that. Obviously, we got Smalling from Fulham back in 2010. We got Phil Jones from Blackburn, was it, back in 2011 or 2012. We got Phil Jones, if I can remember rightly. But they are too inconsistent now, like I said. And this is why I did say, we need two central defenders. It was a bad mistake from the club, giving Smalling and Jones new long-term contracts. Obviously, with Eric Bailly, I think he's a really good defender and he has got great potential, but I think his Manchester United career has been badly affected, the amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, his fallout under managers and all that. It's had a really bad effect on his Manchester United career. I do expect, Darmian and Rojo, to be leaving the football club. I think we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds, for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. I think that's what we can get, for Darmian and Rojo. But both of them players have endured difficult times at Manchester United and all that. But yeah, like I said, I probably do expect around three or four players to leave the club and all that. I think, we're okay on that left-hand side. We don't need to address that left-hand side because looking at it, that's where the majority of our attack comes from, is that left-hand side. And obviously, we have got Daniel James on the board. I don't think we need a left-back, I think we're okay at left-back. We've got Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is very, very reliable indeed. Hasn't really done much wrong as a Manchester United player, but I think he's done very, very well for Manchester United as Luke Shaw. But I do believe now there's a possibility chance anywhere that, that David De Gea, probably, will end up, staying at Manchester United. Now, according to recent reports anywhere, it's looking very likely that David De Gea is going to be staying because now reportedly, PSG have opted him out of the race for David De Gea because they've turned their attentions more on Donnarumma from AC Milan because maybe PSG do believe is a better solution and all that. Obviously, initially, we have not yet come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract. It's good news that I probably will be staying at Manchester United next season, but obviously, there's still that risk, we could lose David De Gea on a free transfer next year, and, we wouldn't want that to happen because that would be a calamity, because I think David De Gea at full value for a goalkeeper, he's definitely worth £100 million, but we're not going to get £100 million anyway if we do sell him this summer because he's in the final year of his current contract. But initially, he was linked with a £60 million move to PSG, was De Gea. I think it did say PSG willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. Obviously, if David De Gea said if he was willing to remain loyal to Manchester United, and don't get me wrong, he has remained loyal to Manchester United for 8 years, and he was, willing to sign a new contract. He said he wants £350,000 a week from us, but he did reportedly say, we're not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. Obviously, in his current deal at the moment, he's on £200,000 a week, so he's potentially, he wants around £158 million pay rise and all that. But he has made over 300 appearances for Manchester United in all competitions. He's won everything here domestically. He has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, I think we paid around £17 million for him from Atletico Madrid, back in 2011. He hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period at the club. I know he was making costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with the contractual situation and all that. And yes, I probably will be staying there for next season. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to a fax machine, of course, the deal never materialised. So, like I said, probably, David De Gea will be staying, but, I hope somewhere along the line, we can come to an agreement to get him a new contract, because we could risk, losing him on a free transfer next year and all that. But if we were to cash in for him this summer again, that's going to help us, raise more funds, and it's going to help us, rebuild the squad and all that. But like I said, if De Gea does go anywhere, we're going to need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him, because obviously, initially it said about 3 weeks ago that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker was intending on, promoting, Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper and all that, but, I've got reservations about that. Because I don't think Romero's reliable enough as yet. We've got Dean Henderson, but I think we need to orchestrate on loaning Dean Henderson out for another season, to gain him a bit more experience, because I do believe he's too inexperienced at the moment, he's Dean Henderson. But yeah, probably David De Gea, now will be remaining at the football club now that PSG, of course, have dropped out. Obviously, pulled out of the race for him and all that. I hope we can get rid of Alexis Sanchez and all that. I think that will obviously, help us with our wage bill if we can offload him. I don't think we can offload him, permanently, obviously, based on his substantial wages. I haven't heard much more additional information about Sanchez there. There's still a possibility chance that he could still be at Manchester United, next season and all that. But I think Manchester United, do want to get rid of him. His wages are having a bad effect on the football club. He's 30. He doesn't even have a future at the club anywhere. He's on £400,000 a week, potentially rising up to £500,000 a week, based on the image rights and obviously, based on the bonuses and all that. It amounts up to around £500,000 a week. But he is one of the problematic players at Manchester United, so hopefully, we can get rid of him. Looking very imminent that Romelu Lukaku is going to be leaving Manchester United. That's looking very, very imminent now. Obviously, I think he's set to move to Inter Milan for around, 60 or 70 odd million pounds and all that. It did basically say from the Daily Mail yesterday, like I've updated you on a regular basis, saying that, Lukaku has agreed a deal with Inter Milan worth around £180,000 a week. And obviously, I think everything's been agreed, with Inter Milan and Lukaku. Obviously, they have not yet, come to an agreement on a fee. And I still believe, that Inter Milan and Manchester United are negotiating over coming to an agreement on a fee. I think we want around, is it 60 or 70 odd million pounds for Lukaku? I read it in the Daily Mail. It said, we want around 75 million pounds for him. So basically, we're looking to basically, recoup the majority. Well, we're looking to recoup the money, that were paid for him from Everton, a couple of years ago, because we got him 75 million pounds. Obviously, there were several add-ons included, which there is in the deal to 90 million pounds. The add-ons were 15 million. He has got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about 250 grand a week. But I think we need to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because I think Lukaku, wants to play under Antonio Conte. He recently described him as one of the best managers in the world, and obviously Lukaku probably believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance, and obviously, he wants to rejuvenate his career. Obviously, Lukaku is 26 years of age, he's in his prime. And he's still got a lot of development in him, and his pedigree is really, really good in the Premier League. His ratio is very, very good in the Premier League. But we do know he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United, because he is surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Obviously, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed, we did tell him quite a few weeks back, that he can leave the club. But yeah, he's been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan. Lukaku has been at Manchester United 2 years. I think he scored 42 goals in 96 matches in all competitions and all that. And he did well in his first season, but didn't really replicate in his second season. And obviously, we do know that Rashford is first choice ahead of him. So basically, Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. Like I said, he's one of the problematic players and all that. Obviously, like I said, I think everything's been agreed with Inter Milan. The fee could be problematic for Inter Milan, because I don't think they'd be willing to pay up to 70 odd million pounds for him. I think it did initially say Inter Milan, rate him at around 50 odd million pounds and all that. But obviously, Antonio Conte has identified him as his number one target. Obviously, I think Inter Milan are willing to offer us a card in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, I don't think Manchester United are willing to go along with this, because I don't think we're keen on recommending Icardi in. And it also came out, was it this week or last week, saying that Inter Milan had offered Ivan Perisic, plus cash for Lukaku again. But, Manchester United had turned this down, because we do know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target and all that. He was a long-term target under Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. And obviously, I wanted to get rid of him anyway, because how many reservations I've got about him. His first touch concerns me, not really good in the air, not reliable enough, to get them runs in behind him and all that. His movement's not really, really good. He hasn't got that endless potential, and he is a big game bottle of him, of course. So we definitely need to get rid of him, and I think we need to get someone, in to replace Romelu Lukaku. Someone that can, scores them goals and all that, because that was a problem last season. We wasn't scoring enough goals. Wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal. I think we might have created quite a lot of chances, but we didn't put them away. So we do need someone who can score them goals in the attacking third of the pitch and all that. And we have got Rashford, but like I said, with Rashford, he's not quite reliable enough as yet. He's still only young. Obviously, he hasn't emulated that level yet as Marcus Rashford. It's going to take him a couple of years to get him at that level where he does currently want to be. I know he's underperformed in the last couple of months and all that, but I still believe he's definitely where the long-term solution is Marcus Rashford without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update today. So the main part of this video was to give you the latest news about Paul Pogba. What are you doing?
Do you want some jam lollipop and custard?
Yeah, I ain't even finished my tea yet.
Alright, well, I've just told it ain't ready yet.
And yeah, so that's mainly, like I said, mainly everything update. But like I said, the main part of this video was to give you the update about Paul Pogba. Now, reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's in for the Manchester United bosses and all that. He basically wants to offload Paul Pogba. The main factor reason for this is because obviously he wants to Obviously, he wants to raise funds, to help rebuild the squad and all that. And this is the main factor reason why he wants to sell him. He doesn't basically want to sell him because obviously with his behaviour or that he doesn't think he's a talented player. We're all out. He wants to sell him basically because I think when we've confirmed the signing of Wan-Bissaka, we've basically got to sell before we can actually buy again. As you all know, because reportedly we're being only given £100 million to spend. Obviously, £100 million isn't obviously enough, to address the deficiencies in the squad. So obviously we get Wan-Bissaka on the board. That takes our net spend to £73 million. 18 million on Daniel James. Obviously 55 or maybe even more than 55 on Wan-Bissaka. So he's going to take our net spend to around £70 million. That means we've only got £20 million to spend, and obviously it's impossible, to get a central defender in, a midfielder in, and a right winger and that in, for £20 million and all that. I wouldn't mind it myself, but in the in the football modern era and all that, it's obviously nowhere near enough money. But anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.